Spreading all around my room, my world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of the St. Louis Blues Relocation franchise here on Madden 25. Today, we finish the next season. We've got the last games of the year, the second half of the year, and if you missed last episode, go back and watch it. We started the year weeks 1 through 10, technically week 11 because week 11 was our bye week, but there was no game, obviously. So weeks 1 through 10 for games. And we didn't start out very well at all. That was probably to be expected considering the amount of talent we've lost over the past couple of years. The payoff of that is, though, we've won the last 2 Super Bowl trophies. So this expansion, relocation, whatever you want to call it, type of team has 2 Lombardis in their trophy case, something that the team that we took over didn't have, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we've already done better than what the Jags could do in their 25, 30-year history, however long they've been in the league. So we've already done better, but the dynasty, or whatever you want to call it, because only 2 is probably not a dynasty. 2 in a row is close to a dynasty, but not really. Technically, a dynasty has to be like 3 out of 4 or 3 in a row, or some sort of combination of winning 3 championships within a certain amount of years. Probably the limit would be 5 or 6 years, maybe 5, like 3 out of 5, you're a dynasty. 3 out of 6 is a little tough. It's a little bit of a stretch, but you could probably consider that a dynasty. If a team were to win 3 championships in 6 years, you could probably consider that a dynasty, but that's probably the limit. You wouldn't really consider a team that wins 3 championships in 7 years a dynasty, because at that point you're getting like the original players that were on those teams that won the dynasties or that won the championships, that they were in the early part of that 7 years. They're probably not going to be the same players they were 7 years later. So it's what that's neither here nor there. So this St. Louis Blue team is falling apart because we just simply can't pay all of the talented players that we have. And I was thinking, before I loaded up this video, I was thinking maybe we go in a different direction. Instead of trying to bring back every single person we can, maybe we completely blow this up. Considering this season hasn't gone necessarily our way. Now, we're still 6-4. We're still 2 games over 500. We're still battling for a division crown against the Titans, who are having a killer season. Maybe we abandon that strategy and just go all tank for the rest of this year. Or I guess maybe not the rest of this year, because we don't have the cap room in trading to be able to send anybody away. So it's not like we can just dump all of our players and then be really, really bad. That's kind of out of the question. So if we just finish this year, no matter what happens, if we end up winning a championship, that's awesome. That's a three-peat. That's the first team to ever do it. And we would be a dynasty at that point. But that would probably be where it ends. I doubt that we even get to the playoffs. I mean, the Titans are having such a good year. The only way we make the playoffs is if we sneak in as a 7 seed, I would think. Unless we just go crazy and win every single game the rest of the year. But I highly doubt that's going to happen, considering how bad we looked in some of those games in the first episode of the season. So who knows what's going to happen. But I do think that could be the strategy to go to. But as always, we have to see how it plays out. If we start winning a bunch of games, then maybe the strategy changes. Maybe we go all in again and try to win another championship. Maybe that greed and that hunger for another title and that addiction to winning, maybe that changes the plans. I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards letting everybody go. And yes, that even includes Sam Laporta and all of our team captains. Chris Jones is probably going to be gone. He probably is gone regardless. But I think what the best opportunity would be is to let these guys go, these original players who have been here since the very beginning. Let them all go, except for probably Trevor Lawrence, because he would be under contract for a long amount of time, longer than all these other guys. So Trevor would probably be the last remaining piece of this original dynasty, this original team. And then we just go all into like a tank/rebuild, and then rebuild this team back up into what they were when we were at our height of our powers, winning championships. So I think that could be a fun little like roller coaster, peaks and valleys type of arc that we take. So I guess we'll have to see how it plays out, but that's initially what I'm thinking the plan is going to be for the future of this Blues team. But we have to, like I said before, we have to see how this goes, see what direction we take with how many wins we get this next couple weeks, and then play it by ear. And also deciding on the contracts. And if we're going to go the path of letting everybody leave, then obviously we won't have to make any decisions because we won't re-sign anybody. It just sucks that we don't get anything back in return for them because we don't have enough money in the cap to be able to trade anybody. So we just have to let them walk for nothing. So that kind of sucks because we could maybe get some draft picks to help this rebuild go quicker, but it is what it is. So without further ado, it is time to finish this season. What is this, season 5 or season 6? I think this might be season 5. Let me check real quick. I think this could be season 5, but I'm not 100% sure. It is season 5. Okay. I just had to look at the thumbnail of the last video, and it is season 5. So, finishing season number 5, what's going to happen? We still have one more game against the Titans, which is going to be a pretty tough game, but we'll see what happens. Let's get into it. If you go and enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's go see where season 5 of the Blues takes us. We pick up right where we left off. Week number 12, we're 6-4. If we go over to the division, we're currently right now the 7th seed at 6-4. The Titans are having such a good year, including a win over us in the end of last episode. As you can see at the top of your screen, they were the final team that we played. We even jumped into that game and still lost it. So it's been a tough ride, but that's to be expected with the amount of talent that we had lost over the past couple of years. So this is what our team looks like right now, but it's not going to look like this probably even regardless of what I choose to do in the next off-season episode, which is probably going to be coming up pretty soon. Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, Campbell, Sanborn. I mean, all these guys are gone, most likely, except for these two guys. I don't really want Sanborn to be gone because I would like to keep him back since he's one of our original draft pick guys. But with 7.7 million, I don't know if there's anything that we can do about that. And we had been using franchise tags on guys like Sam Laporta. We used it on him the past couple of years. I guess I could use that on Sanborn to keep him around this time. But if I go to the trade block or to the trade center, we have negative 33 million in available cap room. So that means no trading of players. We can trade draft picks around, but we can't trade players. So that is a little bit unfortunate, but that's just the way things go sometimes when you have a lot of expensive players to try to win a championship. At some point, it's going to come back to bite you, and you're going to have to come back to pay those guys. And it has come around for us, and we can't do that. So let's start the episode with a simulation on the road against the Detroit Lions and see if we can get the job done. We do. Okay, that's a big win. That's a really, really big win. Makes us a 7-win football team with a game against the Chargers up next, and then the game against the Titans, which we might jump into. That's a very possible scenario that we jump into that. I do want to take a look at the actual team salaries, the breakdown here, and just see kind of what we're working with here. So Trevor Lawrence has 3 years on his deal, obviously 2 more after this season. So Trevor Lawrence might very well be, actually I can't say that because we just re-signed Dallas Turner and Will Anderson Jr. in the past couple of seasons. So there's going to be only a few guys left from this original team. Dallas Turner is going to be that guy. Anderson Jr., it looks like probably Chop and Andrew Grant Chop because we just brought him back last year. So there are going to be some guys that we did just re-sign. But if we can let go some of those expensive guys, like who's coming up for a contract next season? It looks like it's going to be a couple of 60 overall players. We've got LaMichael Dotson is going to need a contract very soon, which is going to be a little bit scary. Adkins and Porter because we're accepting their team options. But LaMichael Dotson is probably going to be our main expensive guy, and I do want to keep him around because he's one of our first. He was, I think, our first ever draft pick. I can't remember exactly. He might not have been. He was very close, though. But then Trevor Lawrence, obviously, a couple years from now. So this team is going to look very, very different, drastically different in the next couple of seasons. But I think the only way that I would let Trevor Lawrence go at the height of his skill would be if we get like a massive haul in return. Like if we get 3 first-round picks, a couple of second-round picks, like something crazy for Trevor Lawrence. But the only way that we'd be able to trade him is if we have that cap room erased from the trading thing where, as it currently says, we have negative 33 million. If that becomes positive, then that's the only way we could even move on from Trevor Lawrence where we could actually get something in return. I don't know if I would go for a player in return, if he's a young player maybe, but I would certainly want like draft picks. So we're here at week 13. Before we simulate the game against the Chargers, we will do some scouting. I'm not sure how this season's going to play out, so I don't know where to scout. Like, I don't know if I should scout some of these top guys or not, because are we even going to be able to make a play for them? Probably not at this point, at least not the top five guys. It looks like I made it outside linebacker as our focus, so that's always useful. We should probably focus a little bit on offensive line, just because offensive line's always good to have at depth. So that's probably a big thing we should do, and maybe a wide receiver or a tight end. Probably tight end, actually. We should probably focus a little bit on tight end because if we lose Sam Laporta, we're going to have nobody. So let's select at least one, maybe two of these tight ends. Actually, let me take him off. Let me actually look at them and see if they're any good for right now. Obviously, we're not going to know too much about him because it's still early in the scouting process. That first tight end doesn't look amazing, but he is 6'4". Nate Callahan, okay, he's got an okay look to him. Henry Rogers, 6'5", vertical threat. I'm looking for a freak athlete. I don't know if there's going to be one in this draft, but that's what I'm kind of looking for. Jeffrey Lowell, 6'4". Okay, here we go. Elite to great speed, elite to great agility. Now, his acceleration is not amazing, but he is at least the athlete that I'm looking for. Nick Youngblood, pretty solid athlete, decent route runner as well. All right, there could be something with these tight ends. I kind of liked the look of, which one was it? Was it Callahan or was it Rogers? 6'2" is not a great height for a tight end, I don't think. I like my tight ends to be a little bit bigger than that. I think it was Callahan, though. Callahan has the acceleration. So if we use Callahan, and Brandon McCain wasn't that good, right? I looked at him. I mean, he's got a decent amount of athleticism. He's a first round grade for a reason. So if we use these three guys, maybe Lowell, and we go tight end heavy in this week 13 thing, and then in the before the draft we scout like maybe an offensive lineman or something, I think that could be a good way to go. So we simulate to get ready to this game against the Titans, who are going to be really, really tough. We win against the Chargers. It is 10-2 versus 8-4, and they have the first game against us. They have the game advantage because they beat us already. So we are in a little bit of trouble, but it's at home. We are now the 6th seed. We've jumped from the 7th seed to the 6th seed because the Dolphins have jumped into the 7th seed. I mean, this division's crazy. Even the Texans, who are 5-8, is still a solid record enough for make this division look pretty crazy. But the Colts are 8-5. We're 8-4. Titans are 10-2. I mean, this could not be more tight division. But it's a big game. This is going to be the first probably of two that we jump into. And we'll see if we can get the job done, hopefully, because I would really like to keep the winning streak going and beat a division rival who's having a crazy good season. Major game here against Tennessee. Thankfully, we're at home, so we don't have to worry about like a hostile environment or anything. But the Titans are still a good team. We have to worry about them. Just because we don't have to worry about a hostile environment doesn't mean we don't have to worry about the Titans as a whole. But here we go. We're jumping in first action of the day. 3rd and 5, second quarter. See if we can get the job done here. Snap this football. I'm going to go Corum, and Blake will just miss it off, like through his hands or something. I'm not quite sure how he missed that. I put that where it needed to be. At least I thought I did. I guess I didn't, and the clock will run out before I had any time. We didn't have any timeouts or anything, so that's unfortunate. 7-7 at the half. 7-7 at the half. And they still want me to play the actual game. I don't want to. I want to do the key moments. There we go. Come on, defense. There we go. Defense, I think, might be like turning over the Titans a little bit more efficiently. Yeah, 2 turnovers for the Titans, 1 for us. So it seems like our defense is playing a lot better than they did in the first game against Tennessee. Did Amon-Ra win that? I think Amon-Ra did win that. Down the field, Amon-Ra into the end zone, carrying a man with him. Touchdown, Blues. The Trevor Lawrence to Amon-Ra St. Brown connection is going to be one that I'm going to miss. Certainly. Oh, but the Titans score pretty quickly. We've got to get this one in the end zone here. I don't really want to run read option with Trevor Lawrence, even though he's decently fast. Are they going to block that? Yes, they are. 8 carries for 21 yards. This has not been a team to run against. 2-minute warning is coming. We got Bazooka activated for Trevor Lawrence, which is nice. I don't usually have an X-Factor quarterback. Why are these little throws to the right so difficult for Trevor Lawrence? I'm not sure. I'm not like moving the analog stick to push the ball. I'm just throwing it. He's just missing. That one's going to be caught for St. Brown. It's 4th and 3. We could just kick the field goal here, which would probably be the smart thing to do since our defense has played decently well. But I want to put this in the end zone against a division rival. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure they feel it. Feel the pain. St. Brown, catch, ball game. Well, not guaranteed ball game, but a big touchdown. Good job, St. Brown. Can we get the win, though? Oh, they are threatening, and they didn't get it. It's 21-14. We come away with a huge victory. We split the season series one apiece. That's a massive game. That's a really, really massive game. Jalen Miller played pretty well, but not as good as Trevor Lawrence did. That's a really, really big win. That might be the biggest win of the season so far. It keeps the win streak going that started the episode. And now we have a win over Tennessee. So they don't sweep us in the season series, and we come up with the last few games of the season, hopefully, with some more wins. This is a Texans team that is not as good as we are, so we should be able to beat them. And we do, 49-35, big win. We are 10-4, and the Bears are bad. They're 4-10. Anderson Jr., Blake Corum get some upgrades. Nice to see that. How's the division looking? 10-4 Tennessee, so they lost again. Because they were only 10-2 when we played them. Then they went to 10-3 when we beat them, and then they must have lost again. They're 10-4. We're 10-4. The Bills are 11-3. There's a world where we can end up as the 1 seed out of all this. It seems crazy, but if we keep winning, there's a world where that happens. We will lose to Chicago. There's no more world where that happens, ladies and gentlemen. We lose to a 4-win Chicago team. That's depressing. Out of all that stuff we were doing, all of the big momentum we had has just gone out the window. Now, Tennessee did lose again, and the Bills lost. We had it in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. If we would have won that game, we would have been unbelievable. We would have been 11-4, either the 2 seed or the 1 seed. That's crazy. Big game against the Packers. We'll jump in for the final game of the season against the Houston Texans. Oh my God, we lost that game too against the Packers. Oh, we're selling. We are having a generational crash out right now to end the season. Where does that leave us? The Bills have clinched the 1 seed. Or actually, no, they've just clinched the... Actually, no, they did... Yeah, because Y means... Oh, no, never mind. Z is what I'm looking for. And they just clinched the division. Titans have clinched a playoff spot. So have the Ravens. Oh, my God. We are a generational sell right now. But we have a Texans team that we should be able to beat for our 11th win. That should get us a guaranteed playoff spot, either the 6 seed or the 7 seed. Actually, I guess it could be up to the 5 seed. There's only one way we can go, and that's the 5 seed or the 2 seed, I guess. There's still a chance we win the division if the Titans lose, but I doubt that they'll lose. And even if they do lose, I don't think we'll pass them if we win. It's going to be tough. We sold down the stretch with those 2 losses in a row, which is very annoying because those are 2 winnable teams, especially the Bears game. They were only 4 wins when we played them, and we lost to them. But this is the final game of Season 5 regular season. We need this win. This is a big Week 18 matchup against Houston, not because Houston's like a competitive team against us, but because we need this win to basically clinch a playoff spot. If we lose this game, we might fall out. That's a very real possibility, and we are already flying through this game. We're in the 3rd quarter, 14-3, and it looks like we're going to be able to contain this one. 2:52 to go in the game, 3rd and 5 in the red zone. One more touchdown and this game is over because there's just simply not enough time for Houston. And I think I'm going to go to the one man. That's pass interference. I was going to say he was impeding my progress. So we bait ourselves a pass interference call, and we move up to the 1 yard line for Blake Corum to just pound himself into the end zone. Halfback dive. Oh, they're not ready for the run at all. I don't know what they're lining up here for. Handoff. Corum is in. I thought he was down. He slides into the end zone. Blake Corum delivers, and we have ourselves a game over. That's what you call a game over. So we will key moment it 20. We missed the extra point, or maybe we went for two and didn't get it. I'm not sure, but that is the ball game. It doesn't matter. We win. So I'm pretty sure that right there has clinched us a playoff spot. Because going into the game, we were number 7. We were the 7th seed in the playoffs, and I would assume that winning that game keeps us at either the 7th seed or something else. CJ did not have a good game. There's a possibility that we jump to the division win because we did split against the Titans, so it's not like they have the advantage over this, the head to head. It's all up to if they lose. But if they don't lose, then the highest we could go is possibly 5, depending on what happens with the Dolphins and I think it was the Ravens, maybe. I can't remember exactly who it was. We do make the playoffs. We play the Ravens in the wild card. That doesn't mean that we didn't make the 2 seed. Let's find out. We are the 6 seed. So we do get out of the 7 seed, which is awesome, thankfully. Ooh, the AFC West was god awful this year. The Chiefs won at 7 wins. That's gross. But we do sneak in as the 6 seed, which is always nice. It's just frustrating because we could have had a Bills type of season if we didn't lose those 2 games to the Bears and Packers. We could have been a 13-win football team, but we sold it down the stretch with those losses, which is very, very frustrating. We shouldn't have had that. But this is the official playoff bracket. If you're curious, Bills are the 1 seed, Falcons are the 1 seed. The teams that I'm covering are the 4-seeded Cowboys and the 5-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that is your matchups for this playoff run. Next episode will be the entirety of the playoffs. So whether we are one and done in the wild card, that's just unfortunately what the episode's going to be. It's going to be a super short episode, so keep an eye on the timestamp. And or we go all the way to the Super Bowl and win our 3rd straight, or anything in between, it's going to be all in that next episode in the playoffs. We'll take a look at the stats, though, to see how the season went. Trevor Lawrence had another killer year, as expected. 4,400 yards, 40 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. A 73% completion percentage is really, really good for Trevor Lawrence, especially in the playbook that we're running, which I'm not even sure what playbook we are running, to be honest. But 40 touchdowns is really, really good. Blake Corum had 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Awesome. Love to see that. St. Brown had 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. That could be an Offensive Player of the Year season if depending on how good the rest of the league was. Dotson had a really good year, and he's going to have to jump into that number 1 role along with Brian Thomas pretty soon because St. Brown's just not going to be able to come back unless we franchise tag him, but I think I'm going to use that on Sanborn. Laporta had a good year. Thomas had a good year. And then defensively, Sanborn, I mean, he's a monster. 102 tackles, 80 for Percy Good. Christian Gonzalez had 76. Dallas Turner 71. Tackle for loss there was Chris Jones, who's going to be out the door. He is older, though. 17 tackles for loss, 13 for Turner. Anderson only had 4, not getting a lot of pressure in the backfield in terms of tackles for loss, but he did have 8 sacks, so I guess I can't say that too much. Sack leader was Turner with 12. Off the edge is awesome. That's like, we must be in a Steeler playbook because that seems like a TJ Watt type of stat line. Williamson had 8 sacks. Jones had 7.5. Sanchez. Why did I see Sanchez? Matthew Schwartz had 5, which is awesome because he had a big question mark over his head coming into this season. We weren't sure if he was going to develop. Hopefully that proves that he will develop. Paul McKinney had 4. Chop had 3. I'd like to see Chop do a little bit more, but it's okay. Interception leader was Cooper DeJean, baby. My Jackie Robinson had 3 picks. Kendall Irving had 3. Quincy had 2. And then a couple guys had a singular interception. We are the number 7 head coach in the Legacy Leaderboard, which is awesome. And that will be the end of our episode here. Next episode, like I mentioned, is the entirety of the playoffs. We'll take one peek at what the lineup looks like in terms of like any overall growth or anything like that. Lawrence is very close to being a true 99. So before we end the episode, let's take a kind of a peek at what this team will most likely look like next year. So get rid of Sam Laporta. He's going to be gone, unfortunately, even though he's one of our team captains. We're going to have to name new team captains because Trevor Lawrence is going to be the only team captain left. St. Brown will be gone. So we'll have Dotson and Thomas as our 1 and 2. Blake Corum will still be here. Trevor Lawrence obviously will be here. The offensive line will be the same. And then on defense, we lose Chris Jones, which is going to hurt. We lose Tyson Campbell. We will lose. Actually, we're not going to lose that many people because we're gonna franchise tag Sanborn, so he'll stay around. Good and Irving are still young enough where they're still on their rookie deals, so we don't have to worry about them just yet. Yeah, we're not gonna be losing as much talent as I thought we were initially. When you go to the re-sign people, it looks like it's gonna be a lot more talent than you think. But it's just St. Brown, Laporta, Campbell. We're gonna franchise tag Sanborn. Oh, that's right, Sanchez. I forgot about Schwartz. Why do I keep doing that? Schwartz. It's not even close to Sanchez. Why do I keep saying Sanchez? Schwartz is also going to be gone, unfortunately. Chris Jones, we talked about, but the rest of the guys are just kind of like backups that aren't ever going to play. Will Lutz, unfortunately, probably has to go. I guess I could spend a little bit of money and pay him, but I don't know if I want to. And then Tommy Potter and Atkins will be back on player options, but or team op, whatever it is. So we are going to lose Matthew Schwartz, which is a little bit upsetting because he had a solid year. But I can't franchise tag him because I'm going to use that franchise tag on Sanborn. Well, that's annoying. So we're going to have to find another defensive lineman to replace Schwartz, who I thought he was going to be the guy to hold that spot, but I guess he's not going to be. Is there anybody that I can move to the defensive end spot that we already have? We have McKinney, who got a little bit of play, so maybe he just jumps up and takes that spot. I guess that's possible. We do have Potter and Holiday. I remember drafting Holiday. Is Potter? I'm going to move him first to defensive end and just see what his overall goes to. Maybe he's not ready for a defensive end. I just want to move him there just to see what his overall goes to. Okay. Move him there and see how he goes. He is a 79. Ooh. Ooh, that's intriguing. Okay. So he stays at a 79 regardless of if he's on the as a stand-up linebacker or if he is a down lineman. That's really, really interesting. So maybe we switch our linebacking depth up a little bit, maybe draft a linebacker to replace Potter and then move Potter down to the end to replace Schwartz. That's a possibility. I don't know if I'm exactly going to do that or not. It just depends on how the draft plays out. It all depends on how the draft plays out. Is there going to be a good defensive end in the class that we might have a chance at? I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that is going to do it for this episode. We finished the season. We had a little bit of a stinker there at the end, losing two in a row that kind of cost us a really good seed, at least the 2 seed, if not the 1 seed. But we managed to sneak into the playoffs regardless as the 6th seed. We take on Baltimore to start next episode. It's going to be pretty tough, but we have life and we have a chance to three-peat, the first team to ever do it. So that would be pretty awesome. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave it a like. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.